just completely destroying what can be a good event. But I know a lot of us were watching a few of us. I don't want to say a lot of us because on this side of the United States of America, it was 3 a.m. in the morning. So a lot of us in the U.S. probably were not watching, but I know more than a few of my Wolfpack fam were up watching the live stream with me as I was here for Sprint Quali. And what we saw during Sprint Quali, as you see right here on the screen, Lewis Hamilton getting on pole position for Sprint, and it was shortly lived after we saw Lando's time get deleted for exceeding track limits. And then all of a sudden, we see chain of events. Lewis Hamilton goes to the top of the charts, pole position. Okay. He goes to the top of the charts for pole position, gets that on merit. Next thing you know, Lando comes across, boom, he gets it, but then his track time is deleted. And then somehow later on, it's reinstated. Why does this happen? How does this happen? Some of you may know, some of you may not know. I'm pretty much going to say why I think this happened. By the way, burned on the exhaust, tuning up the cart for the race tomorrow for the baby. Yeah, I should have had my long sleeves on and I didn't. Damn near 80 some degrees in the south, so tank top only, boom, hit it up. You know, there's a war wound. But how did this happen? Why did this happen? And what's going to keep this from happening further? First thing I want to say is the FIA are being consistently inconsistent. This is another season where already early in the season, we're having track limit situations. Okay. We're having track limit debacles. This is a debacle, and this is one that could have caused a lot of controversy and probably did to a lot of spectators watching the sport until things were later explained, because there were a multitude of different things that happened so wrong, and then all of a sudden they reinstate and then don't properly explain why they reinstate. The FIA need to do a better job of being consistent, and they need to do a better job at transparency, not only for themselves as an organization that is going to be governing the most elite motorsports on the world, but for the spectators and the purity of the sport, period. Okay, I'm going to say this. Lando Norris track time is valid. One of them, anyway. The other track time is not valid, and it isn't valid. So what happens here? Lewis Hamilton, boom, we already know that. We see that. All right, we see what's going on with that. But right here, we'll see that Lando is off track completely. He's completely off track. All right, as you see, Lando's time down there is a 1:54 at this point in time. And just as he comes a little bit further in this rain and this slippery, everybody was struggling. It's a 1:55. This is the time where Lando passes at about 2 minutes and some odd tenths of a second. And this is where immediately Lando's time should have been noted and deleted. It should have been immediately noted and deleted, okay? But what happens? The FIA continue to do the things that they do. So what they end up doing is they bring us on down later on, because this is what happens. Big shout out to Nino checking in first in the live chat. If you're not first or last, Nino, thanks for being first. Always try to represent and make sure that I call out those people that are first in the live chat. Big shout out to you. Big shout out to Indonesia too, man. So as you see right here, 1:55. Later on, it comes down, race control, track limits deleted, 1:57. Okay, well, we already saw it was 1:55. So we know that it took Lando more than 2 more seconds to get to that finish line in these weather conditions, okay? Coming further down, we see right here that deleted time is 2 minutes, all right? Deleted time is 2 minutes. Right here, we see deleted time is 1:57, okay? 1:57. Hey, no, Automate Teddy, I see you. You fam. Reezy, you fam. You got those badges. You ain't got to be first. You know I'm going to salute you. Big shout out. So we see right here 1:57. And then later on, we see 2 minutes. Okay. Turn 16. Both of these incidents at turn 16. So as we come further down here, we'll see Lando crosses for what gives him pole position at the sprint at 1:57, okay? Not the 2 minute time. Now, this is the time that ended up initially getting deleted, which brought him out of pole contentions, okay? So there's two lap times that are now deleted, okay? 2 lap times technically that are now deleted. You have the 1:57 that's noted here, turn 16, And then you have the 2 minutes and some odd tenths right here at turn 16. Okay. Then we see later on 157 is reinstated. Why and how does this happen? Also, the picture here, the 157 turn 16. This is Lando right out of turn 16. As you can see, both left side tires on the track, which is inbounds and should be good. Okay. So let's talk about this, because this is something that is really starting to just get on my damn nerves. It's getting on my nerves. The technology that they were once speaking about, it needs to be put in place if it's not already. And if it isn't, it needs to be tuned up. Situations like this are what just consistently make the FIA look like buffoons. Consistently. We are way too deep into this whole track limit saga to be having these situations. And this right here, I will even show you as it sits right here. Let me bring this up so I can show you this as well. As it sits right here, you'll see that his time for pole 157.94, Lewis Hamilton a 159.2, okay, on merit. But as we come across right here, you'll also see that Lando's deleted track time, which was number 7 on record, turn 16, and car number 4. Lando right here, time of day 16:17, which is 4:17 p.m. that time, and that would actually be the 2 minute and 0.8 at 2 minutes and 8 tenths of a second of that lap time that was initially deleted, and that is still there. So that lap time is deleted. It is officially marked as deleted, and the FIA ruined or made a mistake. They made an error the way they already initiated it. Okay, they made an error by deleting the lap time for Lando at 157 because they sat on their ass to wait to delete it. And if they didn't wait to delete it and they did delete that lap time based on whatever the case, whatever they may have been basing it on, then I have to wonder what they were basing it on, because clearly obvious Lando's tires are on track at that 157 lap time that he accumulated to grab the pole position. Now, already here, you're going to see that Lando is clearly off track for that 2 minute time, and he is so far off track, it ain't even funny. But the problem with the FIA is they made an error. They misstepped once again, and it's only consistent for them to be inconsistent. And these things are going to cause problems. But what I also would like to point out is this. They corrected it. They corrected it, right? They fixed it. And my problem here is, how is it so often that we see you fix something that you did wrong in some of the smaller moments in comparison to what happened in 2021? I just got to ask this question, because I still have to ask, you made a decision to delete a track time late, and then you fixed it, which tells me that you feel that better late than never, better to fix it than to go on. So why didn't you fix what happened in Toto? Why didn't you fix what happened in 2021 Abu Dhabi? You still haven't fixed that. I'm just saying, you have shown us the ability to fix things that you mess up. Why have you then expressed or taken action of an inability to not fix what you damn well know is wrong? You doing what you did back then, it should have followed suit here. Once you deleted 157, it should have stayed deleted if that's the case, because you've shown us in compartmentalized situations that it's okay to do something completely, utterly, exponentially wrong and never fix it. But here it is right here. We have a track limit situation that you completely screwed the pooch on so bad, it ain't even funny, in such a small amount of time, and you go back and fix it. That right there is ridiculous. That's crazy to me. It shows that there is a biasness and that there is completely a favoritism ingredient in what the FIA and Formula One do. No, Automate Teddy, what's going on now? Which says the FIA is at the image of the management. As long as there is a clown at the helm, this will keep happening. No, you ain't lying. You're not lying about that. And you're ultimately correct. And this is what the problem is. This is a big problem, because this should be something that is already so fixed it's not even funny. We should not be seeing errors to this magnitude on track limits. We just shouldn't. There is a reason, but there is not an excuse for this to be happening. Okay? You clearly have two different laps, two different times. How do you report? I'm just trying to say, how do you report deleting two lap times? How do you report that? You deleted two, turn 16, 2 minutes. You deleted 157. Why did this happen? Who was late? Who wasn't paying attention? Who had baklavas or donuts or Dunkin' Holes or Krispy Kreme flown in? Maybe you were busy eating a donut. Maybe that's what it was. But we also see Lando, I think is, matter of fact, it's Lando and his bestie. Lando and Max Verstappen, the most drivers to have track times deleted. Lando and Max Verstappen, the necklace pals together. 2 and 3, 6 and 7. They couldn't be more coupled together than if they were in heaven. That's it. Look at that. Go figure, okay? So I also would like to say this, and we could talk about this for a second. I said it before qualifying started. Red Bull, Max Verstappen do not do well in tight constraint windows where they have to dial things in. They don't do well in situations where mandatory tire allocation is. And here it is. Max Verstappen, I should have brought that video when he damn near did the Dukes of Hazzard, ran off track. In short frames, because the stewards themselves got confused on what usually happens, that going off track on the last turn invalidates the next lap too. And so, in short frames, thank you very much. Good point. Okay. And this is something where we keep seeing the FIA go and twist or bend regulations or rules to make things happen. If we're talking about different drivers in certain places, does this same thing happen? If we're talking about Max Verstappen on pole, and this is Lando versus Lewis Hamilton on pole, Max Verstappen's on pole and Lando does this, are we still seeing this same chain of events? Because I can wonder that, and I'm right for wondering that, because they give us the door, the windows all open, the ADT, the acronym, the brake, the loud, whatever alarm system you have is completely off. They give us the opportunity to believe or to think that because they consistently show us by actions that they don't stay sound to the letter of the law. Yes, in some situations, things may occur that have not yet been explored, and therefore no regulation has been outlined to specifically quantify that. But this is not one of those situations. Abu Dhabi 2021 was not one of those situations. All right. The Plank situation in Toto, where you got Charles and Lewis being DQ'd, that itself is one of those situations where you're like, well, how many other cars were out of spec that you didn't check? You can't do a sample size like that. And this is the problem. Insure Frames says it is always on per track basis whether or not going off track on the last turn invalidates the next lap. It is determined leading up to the weekend. And that is something else where you would have to read the race director's notes leading into the race weekend. That is something where you would have to read that. If that's somewhere they will put it, that's likely where they will put it in the race director's event notes. And that right there probably should be outlined if it's not. And these are situations where we really shouldn't have a per weekend basis. It shouldn't be, okay, this weekend we're going to do this weekend we not. This is not one of those situations. This is track limits. Either you're on the track or you're not. And I'm going to say that if indeed you are off track coming into the main straight, which could give you a speed advantage, then yes, your lap time should be deleted, because we know most drivers are going to start their push lap right then and there. So if you exceed track limits by carrying up more speed, then yes, if it's going to be that way, keep it that way. Now, if you're going to say that if you have exceeded track limits, regardless if it's in the last turn or not, if it's before the transponder line, then it just voids that lap. Once you cross the transponder, you're on to a new lap. But there needs to be a consistent rule of law of this is how we are going to carry it out. And I don't give a damn what track, what circuit, what country, what city, what state, what zip code, what area code, what county we are in. That should not change. It should be the same regardless of where you are. Keep it the same, and shit like this does not happen. And that is just it. So, to me, I feel as if the FIA are doing a disservice not only to themselves, but to the sport. And they've already done a disservice, so this just continuously mounts on top of the pile of disservice that they've already done. And honestly, I'm tired of seeing it. And it only makes it worse for fans, Lewis Hamilton fans, when you see Lewis is on pole after struggling with Mercedes for so damn long, and the next thing you know, you have a debacle of a situation like this, and all of a sudden, oh, he's not on pole, Lando is. It's not a good look. I understand what happened. No, Liberty needs to realize that these shenanigans will hurt their bottom line. Bottom line. They need to demand better, because FIA will do nothing. I'm trying to tell you. No, you speaking facts. No, you are speaking facts. And I like what y'all dropping in here. That is food for thought. They need to. It already really had affected their bottom line. Don't forget a report of 650,000 less viewerships for Formula One last season. How much of that they pick back up, I don't know. But what they're doing has already affected their bottom line. And they continuously ignore that it is until they realize we're in trouble. FOM need to pick it up and be like, hey, yo, if y'all are gonna be governing this sport, we're gonna need y'all to get this shit together. Unless both ends are in agreement on how they're running things. And that very well could be the case. They could be in agreement, okay? So as we see right here, let's just bring this up. If we look at the race director's notes right here, 13 track limits, it says, in accordance with provisions of Article 33.3, the white line defines the track edges during qualifying and the race. Each time a driver fails to stay within the track limits, this will result in that lap being invalidated by the stewards. So that lap, which I don't know why the next lap was in question, unless, like Insure Frame was saying, but this is where they should outline that. Right here is where that should be outlined. And it should be no question about that. It should be nowhere near should we be thinking about, oh, well, you know what? Is that exactly how that's supposed to go? No, it should be automatically known that, yo, this is the way it is, and it's not a question. But I'd also like to say this. Toto, Wolff, get off your ass, bro. Just do something. You look so lackadaisical since 2021, it ain't funny. I don't see Mercedes often protest a damn thing. I got damn Aston Martin out here protesting, taking footage, finding a way to get decisions overturned with legitimate evidence for Alonso. We got Alpine, we got all types of teams. Red Bull is fucking famous for doing this. Why is it that Mercedes, Toto will sit with his hands crossed, but later on, he's going to get on a press conference or an interview and say something slick? Bro, you said something slick, but you didn't do shit. You didn't do anything. Where's your protest? Where is something to say Mercedes is not just going to take anything? We're going to make you look into this. Toto doesn't do, what are we doing? There's a such thing as being in a gentleman's league, and there's such thing as being a damn pushover. And I'm just saying that's getting damn near ridiculous. I got to say it's getting ridiculous. I'm lightweight. I am tired of seeing it. I ain't even lightweight tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing it. I mean, what the hell is going on? What the hell and when the hell is he actually going to damn do something? Every time we turn around, it's like he's not protesting a damn thing. There it is. Racer X210 says, attention drivers, 428 will be Wolfpack Grudge Race Weekend. Track will be China. Appreciate you, Racer X210. Make sure you put that in the Discord too. Make sure you contact all drivers that are going to be participating. Big shout out. So I'm just trying to see when is Toto going to get off his ass and actually do something about something that need to be done, because bro just seems hella lackadaisical, like doesn't say or do anything. He just sits in the chair with his arms crossed. I mean, that's not helping anybody. I'm just saying it's literally not helping anybody. I'm just, it's like he doesn't care. Honestly, it's like he doesn't care. I'm being dead serious. All right, so if we look right here, all right, I want, because you know I like to bring in the regulations, though. They were talking about 33.3, as you saw right here in this file right here, 33.3, boom, Article 33.3, which I believe I have right here, 33.3, drivers must make every reasonable effort. This is where we are. And all the way to down here, all right? Drivers must make every reasonable effort to use the track at all times and may not leave the track without justifiable reasons, which that's not a justifiable reason, okay? The track conditions being wet is not a justifiable reason for leaving the track. You have to adjust your driving. You have to find out where you can get grip, where you can find it. And by the way, they were trying to tee Max Verstappen up with the whole, he's looking for the lines, and then he runs off track. It's like, yeah, you was getting ready to try to tee him up. You was getting ready to try to tee him up, and then that shit fell on you. The ball just fell off the tee. It's like you getting ready to swing, and the ball just falls off. Like, y'all are... And then what's funny to me is this. They don't even talk about it. There's so much on the take. They're so much ready to get their hand slapped. Will Buxton doesn't say anything really about it. Like Dolian Palmer, Adam, none of them say anything really about it. I would have been talking about the fact that the FIA could have caused an extreme amount of controversy by announcing 2 different lap times to be deleted, while one was completely legitimate and one was not. And this happening in the sport is why things become a problem for spectators. But they're so hush-hush on it. That needs to stop. Where does the integrity of the take come from? Where does them standing up and say, hey, anything can be reported on or talked about if it happens in the sport of Formula One within this event? And in this event, the FIA made a huge boo-boo, and it could have been very controversial for team spectators and the sport alike. But they just go on after that, don't ask Lando no question about it, don't do nothing. They just don't say anything about it. Don't hardly say anything about it. Barely in the commentation during the event happening, they wanted to really say anything about it. They said something about it, and they just kind of went, this is so wonderful, the sport and these drivers. And what the, bro, what are we going to talk about this shit that we just saw? We going to just ignore that, or we talking about it? I mean, are you getting fired because you talk about what actually happened? I'm just trying to figure that part out. But as it sits right here, drivers will be judged to have left the track if no part of the car remains on track with it, and for avoidance of a doubt, any white lines defining the track edges are considered to be part of the track, but the curbs are not, okay? Should a car leave the track, the driver may rejoin. However, this may only be done when it is safe to do so without gaining a lasting advantage, at the absolute discretion of the race, all right? That's what we got going on right here, at the absolute discretion of the race. Race director, a driver may be given the opportunity to give back the whole of any advantage he gained by leaving the track. Okay, right here, you don't see anything about this whole prior to the lap and after the lap. You don't see anything about that, right? You don't see anything about that right here in the driving regulations of 33, okay, driving. Says right there, regulations of driving. Okay? You don't see that. You don't see anything about that. And no time may a car be driven unnecessarily slow, which was Max Verstappen in pit lanes happening. Pit lane, here we go right here. Unless otherwise defined by the race director, the section of the track in the pit lane between the safety line and the car beginning the pit lane will be designated the pit lane entry road. All of these things are right here And what's funny is you don't see, just like Insurance Frames was trying to point out, that if you go off track before the line and then go after that, and then you don't see that in the regulations. So then that is what we call tribal law. That is something that we call just here and there. That here and there is what got your ass in trouble last time, years ago. There's no time for here and there. If such a thing is going to exist, it needs to be right here in 33.3. And that should say, if a driver exceeds track limits prior to the start or finish line, after the last turn, that track lap time before should be deleted. That's what it should say. These things need to be outlined. And they need to be adhered to. And consistently, we see that they're not, which is a big problem for me. It is, okay? It's a big problem for me. So I just wanted to come on, talk about that, because I knew that it would cause some controversy. I knew that it was going to be an issue. It was an issue for me when I saw it during the event. I thought it was complete BS. But now, even going into the regulations and looking at what the FIA doing, it looks bad for them. They've been doing this way too long to make these type of mistakes consistently, and that's what they've been doing. I think this is is this round 5? I think this is round 5 that we're in. And already we're having situations like this on track limits. What are we really doing? I mean, what are we really doing? They're too seasoned to be having these type of things happen. They're just, it's unacceptable. Okay, it is completely unacceptable. By round 5, we're still having track limit issues, and this time it's still the FIA trying to find their butthole from their nose or their ear hole. They don't know which one they're hearing out of. They don't know which one they're seeing out of, and I don't even think they know which one they're eating out of. They need to get on job. They need to get on board and figure it all out, okay? So listen, I will be here in the morning for qualifying. Kickback quali is going to be in session. Bring your notepads, your tablets, your laptops, your notes. Compete. $25 gift card. Mary Beanie got hers sent out today going across the pond. $25 Visa gift card is up for grabs. You just have to be the first to get 3 questions answered right. 3 trivia questions right. But while you're trying to get those 3, if somebody answers faster than you by 2, you're still stuck at 2 there at 1. They answer faster than you on the 4th one, you're still stuck at 2. Now you're 2 up. It is opportunity for you to steal. So definitely come compete. Come have a good time. Also, by the way, this week we are giving away the LH44 flag to all Super Chat members. Everybody who did a Super Chat within the fam, I will go ahead and then see your Super Chats. I will put those into the wheel. If you've done a Super Chat, I will put those into the wheel. We will spin for that, and somebody will get this LH44 official Mercedes-Benz Lewis Hamilton flag. That is what's up for grabs this week. The coming weeks, we'll have a Visa gift card up for grabs. Shout out to OG Zilla for donating that, saying, hey, give my kickback quality winnings to the fam and just raffle it off. Now, what I will say is this. Being that that was also done in kickback quality, we will likely do it around the finale lap. We won't do it in kickback quality because we'll already have a kickback quality going on, so we'll wait and do it then. And if you want to race with us when Formula One is not racing, come join us in esports racing F1 2023 until 2024 comes out. Then we'll find where we're going to switch over to the new updated game, and we will go from there. Other than that, I will see you in the morning for quali. Peace.